En este video, verás a Piers Morgan, quien le pregunta a una mujer de cabellera blanca que se identifica como Gandalf, con un corte de cabello progre, su opinión sobre las afirmaciones de los científicos de que solo existen hombre y mujer. La respuesta de esta mujer sorprendió a todos, lo que dio inicio a una conversación que terminó siendo toda una lección. Mira el video completo y observa cómo este hombre, que se identifica como mujer, pero que acepta sin dudar la verdad biológica, revela las verdaderas razones detrás de la obsesión de esta mujer con el tema, dejándola completamente sin palabras y con una sonrisa nerviosa. Sin más preámbulos, comencemos.
Eli, we heard it pretty well there from the professor that from a biological point of view, never mind anything else, from a straight scientific biological point of view, a man cannot be a woman. What is your response to that?
He is completely unscientific and so bound up in his ideology that he isn't even paying attention to the vast majority of biologists, including those from the American Academy of Sciences, who disagree with him and do acknowledge that sex describes a variety of different characteristics that can be changed.
Do you not accept, I mean, there's a reason, for example, that we separate the sexes at the Olympics. It's because there is a presumption based on reality, fact, data, that biological men are superior in almost every physical way imaginable. They're more powerful, they're faster, they're stronger, they have greater lung capacity, and that if you didn't separate the sexes, if you took this to its logical extension, where biological men who become trans women start to just compete in the Olympics all in a free-for-all, a gender-neutral Olympics, then biological women would simply never win a medal again.
There has never been a trans woman who has won a gold in the Olympics.
Hang on. We literally just had at the Paris Olympics the Algerian boxer, welterweight
She's
division.
not a trans woman.
I'm about to tell you what
For all that we know, she is intersex. She was assigned female at birth.
All we know is she was banned from the World Championships the year before because she reportedly tested positive for male chromosomes. Now,
this does not mean she's a trans woman.
Why doesn't she just take a simple sex test and show us?
We can't speculate about someone's
Actually, we
chromosomes.
can. We can when they win gold medals, because you just said it's never happened. When a woman, or says she's a woman, wins a gold medal in a women's sport, and when one of the female competitors who competed against her in an earlier round said she had to quit after 40 seconds because she'd never been hit that hard, damn right we can ask some difficult questions, even if it tramples on a few little oversensitive feelings. It is ridiculous. There was no sex test done.
Said she supports a main caliph's right to participate.
Why didn't she have a sex test to clear this up?
Again, I can't speculate about someone's gender.
But would you not support having sex tests? It's the easiest way to determine somebody's sex. You give them a test.
I think, like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, that we should have different levels of competition.
How? Explain to me how that would work.
There are different metrics, and this would depend sport by sport. Most sports now do allow trans women to compete. I also do want to correct something, too, that there have been several trans men who have won in male competitions at the global level.
What were the competitions?
This includes everything from rugby to swimming.
Rugby? You think there's a trans man who's beaten all the men at rugby?
I'm not saying that a trans man is the best person in the world, the best rugby player in the world, but there are plenty of trans men who have competed at the global level.
Yeah,
this is very easy to
there
Google.
Aren't plenty. There are very, very few. And what they don't do is they don't win because they're physically inferior. With all due respect to Eli, and I absolutely respect your right to have your opinion, but I just think it's flying in the face of basic fact.
It is. And, Piers, I wonder, is it going to take a female athlete being seriously injured or even killed for people to understand how serious this is? It has nothing to do with transphobia and bringing up trans men or biological women who are competing against men because they are trans men, whatever the terminology is for all of that. You don't see the outrage at that because, as you mentioned, Piers, they're not winning. They're not crushing the competition. And if they have, it's in very, very few cases that are negligible. What you're seeing also, you're not seeing the outrage about that because it's very few cases, I haven't heard of any, where trans men, biological women who are transitioning to men, want to be in men's locker rooms, that want to make men feel uncomfortable while they're changing, being in their changing space, watching them undress. So it's a completely different situation. And when you ignore not only biology, but when you ignore gender itself, why should biological women, and I don't even like saying that, Piers, I don't like even referring to myself as a biological woman. I'm a woman, okay? I was born that way. I don't like having to preface that with what I am biologically. I'm a woman. Why should me and other women like me have to put up with competing against men or having men in our locker rooms, men in our restroom, because it makes a very, very small segment of the population feel better about themselves? Why do their feelings trump the feelings of women? That's what I don't understand in this argument, in this debate.
Piers, this is the fundamental problem, is when Eli and her fringe trans friends make all this stuff and they try to deny reality. They try to deny the reality. I'm a natal male that transitioned to live as a woman. Most people call me she, her as I go about my day. That's fine. That's all I need. I don't need someone to have some existential belief that I'm a woman. I need them to let me have control over my own body and go get health care. What she has done and her playbook does is it elevates all these issues to like hidden knowledge. And they try to shut normal people up when they have questions about trans women in sports, or they have questions about calling themselves pregnant people. Like, it is just imposition after imposition. And when you try to shut people up for so long, eventually they're just going to explode. And this is 100% what we're seeing on Facebook in the American system right now. We've got to stop trying to win debates by silencing them, and we need to come back with some facts. And Piers, here's a fact. There was a 2018 study that came out that showed that Eli and I both have protein receptors in how we process testosterone. This could be a reason about why we turned out the way that we did. We don't have to deny the reality of sex to admit that there's probably some sort of biological thing that's going on with both of us that makes us behave the way we do.
Right, and look,
feel the way that we do. So let's have an honest discussion about that.
I agree. And look, the bottom line is, if I'm transphobic, then why are 2/3 of this panel trans?
Right.
Eli? Because last time I checked, Tommy, you're not trans.
Representation doesn't have anything to do with ideology.
You know what?
There's a lot of work to do in our community, and all progress gets some pushback, to answer Brianna.
Yeah, look, it's a good debate.
It's not an answer. It's not a serious answer. You're not a serious person. We need to put some adults in charge of our movement again. It's embarrassing. You setting up a network to give children hormones illegally was hugely embarrassing. You should quit. You should stop doing everything you're doing and never talk about this issue again. Stop. You're hurting us.
Eli, you going to stop?
Why are you giving children hormones? I want an answer for that. Why are you setting up a network to give children hormones illegally?
Outside of the clear ad hominem attacks.
Why are you doing that?
Again,
just answer the question. Don't give me bullshit. Why are you doing that?
All progress requires some pushback.
Why are you giving children
We are going
hormones
to need to
illegally?
keep on fighting if we want to see trans youth protected and get the necessary health care that they need.
She can't answer. She's not a serious person, Pierce. This is not serious time.
I'm sorry, yelling over me isn't going to solve
You're not
anything.
answering the question. Why are you giving children hormones illegally? Why are you setting up networks to do this, Eli? Why?
So
this is a crime. I want to know why you're doing it. It really hurts us. It makes us look deranged. Why are you doing
Eli,
this?
why are you doing it?
Well, this is going to make some great TV. Look, when trans youth are denied necessary health care, we always have to step in. And right now, under very brave trans lawyers like Chase Strangio are in the Supreme Court fighting for trans kids because of...
In a case he's going to lose.
I actually
There's no such thing as a trans kid.
Tommy?
That's very silly.
Piers, there's no such thing as a trans kid. That's child abuse. When you take somebody who's still growing up, figuring out who they are, doesn't know anything about sexuality and shouldn't at that young age, and you try to convince them that there's something other than what they were born to be, that's a problem. It's child abuse. That's my opinion. But also, you're talking about trans kids and their mental health. There was a study that was done about mental health for trans youth, and guess what? The results did not come back favorably, so they wanted to bury it, and that is a fact. So if you show me some data that shows that this gender-affirming care is actually beneficial, let's see it, because the one that was done that a lot of money was poured into came out the other way, and the community tried to bury it. So don't
That's not
target
quite
children.
correct.
If you want to talk about adults and trans rights for adults, that's fine, but leave children out of that, and that's what a lot of conservatives are simply asking for. Leave kids alone. Let them live their lives and figure out what they want to do when they're of age to make those kind of decisions.
Es alarmante cómo algunos activistas están decididos a desviar la atención de la biología cuando se trata de definir algo tan básico como lo que es un hombre y una mujer. Intentan reemplazar hechos científicos con narrativas emocionales que solo generan confusión. Peor aún, abusan del poder que a veces tienen para imponer sus ideologías, incluso llegando a extremos impensables, como intervenir en el desarrollo natural de los niños mediante procedimientos y tratamientos invasivos. Lo más preocupante es que estas prácticas se justifican bajo la bandera de la inclusión o el progreso, mientras se ignora el daño irreversible que pueden causar. En lugar de proteger a los más vulnerables, algunos prefieren imponer sus agendas sin detenerse a considerar las consecuencias a largo plazo. La biología no es algo que se pueda cancelar o modificar con debates ideológicos. Proteger a los niños y defender los hechos debe ser la prioridad, no los caprichos de una minoría con intereses ideológicos. Además, resulta inquietante cómo aquellos que promueven estas ideas utilizan tácticas de censura para silenciar a cualquiera que cuestione su narrativa. Desde redes sociales hasta instituciones académicas, se busca intimidar y etiquetar como intolerante a quien se atreva a defender principios básicos de la ciencia. Esta estrategia no solo sofoca el debate público, sino que también permite que prácticas cuestionables, como la hormonización de niños, se lleven a cabo sin una discusión abierta y sin una verdadera consideración de las implicaciones éticas y médicas. Es fundamental que prevalezca la responsabilidad y el sentido común frente a ideologías que priorizan la política sobre la verdad y el bienestar de las futuras generaciones. Y aquí culmina este video. Si te gustó, puedes darle like, comentar y compartirlo. Asimismo, si disfrutas este tipo de contenido, suscríbete al canal. Tengo muchos más videos similares que podrían gustarte. Gracias y hasta luego.